Hey, so this video is mostly for Poe the person who asked me about my rig, my setup, and probably not about my desk. She didn't ask me about my desk, and this is my desk. So if you guys want to know the state of affairs at the production studio, Benjamin Boyce, here it is. This is a very short episode. So we begin with the sound foam that every month I buy $10 worth, and it slowly spreads like the Borg throughout my life. And then we have this very bright square that gives me a freaking headache. So I only have that thing on when I'm recording with the intention to use this guy, who just barely fits in my affectionately titled space room, because there's no space in here. That's why we call it the space room. All right, so of course I have the computer that I operate, and this is one thing that probably might explain my channel more than anything else I've done. Just like one little bit of trivia that might inform like why I'm so weird and different and special and unique is that if you notice on my keyboard, there's no alt-right, right? And there is a control on the left, but more than any of that, there's this option. I have the option to be left or right. So that's kind of why, that's what founds me in my centrist, radicalism. So of course, this is the camera. Yeah, okay, so the computer comes with this dinky little FaceTime camera. I don't know why, it's only 720, so I try not to use that. And then I have this outboard camera that I use for the podcast or Skype interviews. And then on permanent loan from one of my best friends, or actually my best friend, my original fan bro, is this GH4, which is a rather nice camera. And the best thing about this guy, other than the quality, is that I have this, so I know how to frame myself. Then I've been using this Rode Micro mounted on top, but it's been picking up signals like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth signals from this thing. So if you guys hear in some of the videos, there's this going on, it's because this thing's being stupid. But I upgraded my audio to this Rode NT1A, and this anniversary thing, I got it used from Reverb Nation, I think it's called. It's got this, I put this pop filter on it. A pop filter helps with the plosives. Actually, I'm using an iPhone right now, so I might have some plosives going on in here. It's like P's and H's. And this thing sucks. I need to rig it with a little bit more fabric, because you can still hear in some of my videos like there's this pop, and I compress it out. I usually use a couple applications of sound compressor when I'm using my program. We'll get to the program in a bit, because I need to complain about this program. Final Cut Pro. All right, so I run the audio through this Zoom H5. This is kind of expensive. I bought it for working in the field and doing interviews and stuff like that. But what it does is it lets me translate an XLR, which is this XLR is when you have those 3 pins. It's a grounded connection. I wouldn't want to say positive, negative, and ground, but I don't want to be wrong. The people that I most respect at Evergreen are the sound people, and if they watch me and can still stomach me, I don't want them to know that I can't remember all the stuff that they taught me. Anyway, so I pump that through into the computer. What I use for my Skype interviews is this program called ScreenFlow, and sometimes when I'm talking about, like when I'm reading a document, I'll capture the screen through ScreenFlow, and then you'll see my picture in the document. And get me in trouble with anarchists, because anarchists love copyright law for some reason. That's a whole other story. We might get to that later. Anyway, so ScreenFlow is okay. It's a little buggy, and it's rather expensive for what it does, but I bought it and I use it. The other program I use is Final Cut Pro, which is a pain in the butt. I'm really used to it. I have a pretty good workflow with it. But it can be a real pain in the butt, principally because it does this thing called storyline. So you have your main storyline, and then everything else is connected to the main storyline. So if you're going through and you're cutting apart like the second track or like the above audio, it will automatically default. Even if you're making 100,000 edits on this top one, you have to click it every single time. You have to select this thing. It really pisses me off. If anybody knows how to keep that from happening, I would love that. And this is a little meta. This is me doing the first take of this. telling you how I have the option to be left and the option to be right. And sometimes I have the option to be funny. Sometimes I have the option to be mad. Sometimes I just am freaking pissed off about things. But other than that, I really enjoy this program. What other? Did I talk about this guy? This is really cheap. And there's these freaking flies in here. Like there's flies on the inside and lawnmowers on the outside. It's just like this beautiful time of the year that's totally ruined by everybody else that wants to enjoy it with their freaking thing. So that's my setup. We can go over here. So that's my setup. This is Benjamin Boyce. And because now you've seen my desk, I'm going to shuffle a song your way with some footage overlaid on it about a man with a messy desk. I hope you guys have a great weekend and that everything is bright and shiny and low on the freaking monlowing and the fly housing for thee. Good night. Mr. Posley works at a desk, he works so hard, he gets no rest, and even though he tries his best, his desk is always such a mess, yes, yes, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. His secretary can be a pest and his boss can be scary, I must confess. But no matter what, on Friday night they all go down to the watering chest where they drink a bucket of Hula Express and they sing some songs about the lonesome West. And when they're through they wave goodbye and each returns to his suburban nest. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mr. Posley ain't depressed. He's got a wife who sews his vest while he plays his favorite computer quest. Yeah, she doesn't mind that he's a bit obsessed. Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. Master Con infinite digress. Later on she puts on her dress and they go dancing salsa with all their zest. And late at night she whispers yes when he asks her if she thinks he's the best. Yes, yes, yeah, yes, 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 oh yes, 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 yes. Sunday morning they enjoy their CS. They drink ice cold lemon press. And at the end of the weekend she makes a request. Says, Mr. Posley, don't return to your desk. And he says, oh my dear wife Tess, yes I must return to my desk. Cause if I don't, the world will end. Now what do we do then? What do we do then? Mr. Posley works at a desk. He works so hard, he gets no rest. Now even though his desk is always such a gosh darn mess, he does it all for his dear wife Tess.